Hello all you beautiful people, and welcome back to EC Way of Life. As you can see here, I'm riding probably one of the first Begode A2s in the United States. I'm gonna do this video a little bit backwards and give you a little show of me riding it before we do a walk around and overview of the A2 and my thoughts on it, the differences between the M10-4, and just give you guys the details on it. So thanks to James Van Crofton and NextGenMobility for allowing me to air freight this wheel and get it here early and do some testing with it. As all of you know, I do purchase all of my wheels, I do pay all the freight for them, so it is unbiased reviews. My channel is still unmonetized, so expect only my word and nothing better on these. But as far as the wheel goes, it is quite a bit smaller than I thought it would be. Seeing all the recent releases of Begode riding this thing around, I imagined it being a little bit bigger. And from my post today, as you guys can see, the box is quite small. So it is definitely not S18 size like I thought it was, but it is a little bit bigger than the M10-4, and to me it would be a lot better training wheel than the M10-4. As you can see here, it climbs up this hill with my 220 pounds of chonk, no problem. But the point of this video is to give you guys all the details on this wheel and what it looks like and the differences that I've noticed between it and the M10-4. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, you guys are back with me here at this wonderful lake I found. So let's get into the Begode A2 and point out all the differences that I see and the major improvements that they've made since making the Begode M10-4. Which, don't get me wrong, the M10-4 is one of my favorite little packable wheels. However, this might just take its place. So as you guys could see right off the bat, it does have that new foam. It is in the pictures. Something to note with the foam is it is, I believe, glued to this wheel. I've tried to peel it back because I went to go adjust the headlight, and I cannot, and I don't want to ruin it. It is held in place with some screws that do poke through the other side of that sheet metal. However, anywhere where there's not screws, you cannot lift it up. So I don't believe it's held on with that one-time use tape. I believe they glued it on. It is quite a bit softer, actually, and it feels like an entirely different foam to me. I mean, look at that. You can see the squish there. It doesn't feel like that typical weird silicone foam that nothing sticks to. A big thing that I wanted to point out is these Begode cast spiked pedals. So from all of the pictures and all of my understanding is this wheel was supposed to come with the M10-4 and T4 style pedals, but as you could see here in one of the other videos posted recently, it does come with these giant upgraded pedals, which is absolutely wonderful over those stock pedals and 100% worth it. The only downside I say to these pedals is foot placement for new riders. It is much more difficult to get your feet on and placed as a new rider and training people with spiked pedals than without. But these are removable, so it is also a win. Another thing I would like to get into, we all know, we've seen the handle here. It's different, it's bigger, it's a lot more robust, but it does include a kill switch. So if you lift this bad boy up, just like any other wheel, it'll right itself, and unlike all the other recent Begode wheels that I've experienced, the T4, the Master, and some others, you don't have to push the button twice. You just push it the once, and the wheel will go down. It does have the exact same display as the M10-4. Not sure you can see it there. It is extremely dim and very hard to see, and it is very tiny. So that's some quick thoughts on that. The handle is nice, it is very comfortable, and that kill switch obviously is very handy. The button here is like a new powder coated black button. It might just be plastic, not really sure, but it is a nice button, and the button and charge port are no longer recessed in the metal frame. This foam here, which goes along the entire top and the back, I was under the impression was the metal frame, but it is not, it is foam. And then for the charge port, it is very easy to get to now compared to the M10-4. You can see that rubber gasket in there, or silicone, and the charge port there. So very easy to get to, no more having to try to get your fingers in there like the S22 and try to get the charge cord on there. It is very, very easy. The headlight here is a little bit different. It's no longer flat. It actually has a nice bevel to it. It is very nice looking, not so cheesy compared to the M10-4, but again, that is a entry-level, very tiny, very pocketable, inexpensive wheel. Other than the difference in the bezel, I believe the LEDs in there and the little blue surrounding lights, if you can see them, are exactly the same. So not a whole lot of difference there. As you can see, it has a knobby tire. This is a tubeless tire, just like the M10-4, and quite robust knobs. I mean, look at that, it's half a finger width in there. But to me, it does look a bit narrower. It is very nimble wheel, as you could see at the beginning of the video that I was riding it around. Definitely a little easier to throw it around than an M10-4. So to get to the back of this, real quick here, just trying to take off on me. Just hold it up, I guess, sorry about that. Is the back here is built quite a bit different, and there is metal framing here that actually extends beyond the tail light. So there is protection. Try to balance this thing here. There is protection for the tail light now. You know, you don't have to worry about that plastic getting busted, and the foam from the top extends all the way to the back, as well as the pads there. So the screw sticking out, again, a little odd, but it doesn't hurt anything, so I don't mind it. One of the biggest differences here, which I never really had a problem with on the M10-4, is it does have a mud guard, and that is the only mud guard that's metal that I know of on any EUC. As far as, you know, the T4 and the Master, there's a tiny little one up in the center above the tire itself that's metal, but then there's a little janky plastic one attached, which the new Commander Mini Pro looks like it comes with the same thing. So it is cool to see this. You know, they did the cutouts in it, so it doesn't just look like a cheap little piece of metal they threw on there. It is very nice looking. It has the same little kickstand as the M10-4, and as far as leaning it all the way back, if it is a little unbalanced, the top here, just like my little aftermarket upgrade, acts like a secondary kickstand, which is also very nice. Something you may have noticed with the motor is there is a blue painted line on both sides all the way around it. It is a C35 motor, so it is a high torque motor, but the tail light array is the same. And one big thing I noticed, sorry again for the footage there, is the valve here. You know, it's very floppy, very concerned that's going to tear easy over time. And look at that. Very, very floppy. And it turns. It rotates easily. And it's nice because you can kind of tuck it out of the way, but at the same time, it's a little concerning. The bolt pattern here, to me, looks different for this compared to the M10-4, but I will have to compare that side by side. But overall, I mean, looking at this wheel, other than the display here, which again is just very tiny and very, very dim, this thing is quite impressive for how tiny it is, how light it is, and how cool it is. I mean, the build quality on this thing is bar none compared to the M10-4, and it just looks rad. The pads up here don't stick out very far, so very easy. I might end up making a seat for it, some people request it. They are far apart, but they're easy to get to and use. And the jump pad here, in my opinion, I wear very thick-soled shoes, and it is very high. You know, that's not going to give you a lock for almost anybody, no matter your size. So just note that that little jump pad there is quite far from the pedal and almost useless, but they did incorporate it, and it does look cool. So, you know, it's better than nothing. But that tire does look a little narrower than the M10-4. I'll have to compare them and do a measure. Well, this is just a quick overview. I hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do have any questions on this wheel, do drop a comment below. No, I am not going to go throw it in the lake and test its waterproofness. I don't know how. Sorry about that there. My camera overheated. It is blazing hot here in Washington today. It's like 91 degrees. As I was saying, I'm not throwing it in the lake, you guys. It's not happening. These buttons, I'm not sure how waterproof and water resistant they are in the long run. However, I don't trust it at the moment. Obviously, the charge port there is quite waterproof. And seeing as I can't really take this foam off easily like I could the M10-4, I can't check to see what this plastic panel on top looks like, if it's identical to the M10-4, how easy it is to pop off, and then how water sealed it actually is. So I will not be tearing it apart. We will have to go with Begode's videos and word on how resilient this thing actually is. So again, if you have any questions on this wheel, just drop a comment below. I did get it from James Van Crofton at NextGenMobility. He has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, it's like making a friend when you start talking to him, so don't be afraid to get a wheel from him. I pre-ordered like 3 or 4, and I was a little concerned as long as it was taken, but he kept me in the loop the entire time, all the way up until it shipped, and then made sure it was delivered today. So quite impressive. Very happy with him. Very good prices. Very good dude. Big shout out to him and the community down in California. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. Oh, sorry, I do have one more thing here. And we're back again. This is the big thing. So these are the new, they're extreme bowl pedals. They're no longer Begode pedals, but these are the new RGB pedals. Let me take you into the shade here real quick and show you that it no longer takes the thumb of Thor. You can see the lighting there, to press the button. It is very, very easy, and the acrylic is completely transparent. It's no longer opaque. So not sure how well it'll light it up at night, but I will do a video on that, and they do look quite amazing. They did add this texture all the way around the rim here to kind of give it a cool look when they're folded up too. So they are revamped, and it does say CNC there. So these are CNC. These pedals here cast on this wheel, but they are the same size, so I wouldn't really say it's worth upgrading. I didn't know it came with those, or I wouldn't have, but I do like the RGB pedals, so I am quite happy. James may be able to get those for you too. Last quick note, the trolley handle. I have no idea how it's going to attach. Maybe these 2 screws, maybe where the kickstand kind of attaches there, but I do know currently they are not available. I keep asking about it. As soon as I can get my hands on one, I will. So hope you guys appreciate the video. Again, if you have any questions, drop a comment below. I appreciate all of you. Please consider subscribing, share the video with your friends, and as always, have a beautiful day, you beautiful people.